Hi, I'm Tom Williams from the Fort Huachuca Public Affairs Office, and welcome to the Global Glance. In local news, the U.S. Army Intelligence Center of Excellence and Fort Huachuca Military Equal Opportunity Team marked Native American Heritage Month with an observance at the Thunder Mountain Activities Center. The commander of the Intelligence Center of Excellence and Fort Huachuca made the opening remarks.
The Army has not always done so well with understanding other cultures, i.e. Iraq and Afghanistan. And so the fact that we're here talking about Native American Heritage Month, I think, is very important, because that was a culture that we didn't understand, and quite frankly, we didn't treat the first inhabitants of our country very well. And there's been others in our history that we've done the same to. And so I think the more we can learn from each other, the better off we can be.
And the guest speaker was a subject matter expert on the topic of Native American code talkers.
And of course, the beauty of the code was the speed. That was the key thing, the speed and security. A lot of things you could not do verbally on radio because the enemy would simply listen in. So you had to go to these very detailed cipher and code programs, change your keys every so often so they didn't pick up on patterns, and it could take anywhere from 2.5 to 4.5 hours to code and decode and implement a message. With the code talkers, all of them, it was as fast as I talking to you on the phone, and you turn around and translate it right back into English to the commanding officer, and it can be implemented. So the speed and the security was the true advantage here.
The month of November is set aside to celebrate the heritage, history, art, and traditions of American Indians and Alaska Natives. Let's head out to the 4th edition of the Turkey Bowl flag football rivalry game, where soldiers from Military Intelligence in blue took on a Signal Soldier team in orange at the Eifler Sports Complex on Fort Huachuca. Signal was looking for its second win in a row as they won last year's contest. The teams traded possessions a few times, and the first quarter ended in a scoreless tie. MI got on the board first with this pass from John Logan to number 13, Isaac Cummings. The extra point was no good, and MI had the lead 6-0. Signal was unable to answer, and MI promptly marched down the field again, capping the drive off with this pass from Logan to wide receiver Kyle Dietrich, and MI increased their lead 12-zip. Signal took possession of the ball and began a drive down the field. Then, with lightning speed, number 25, Mark Bodorf, picked Signal quarterback Marcus Thomas, and MI was up 18-0, and that's the way the half ended. During halftime, results of the food drive were announced.
And the winner of the donation drive is 111th with 6,856 cans. Thank you very much.
And the Garrison Command Sergeant Major introduced the winners of the Best Warrior competition.
The winner, Sergeant Joshua Guzman, U.S. Army Medic. Best Warrior NCO, Sergeant Mark Crosby, U.S. Army Medic.
Early in the second half, MI was knocking on the door, and Logan and Cummings connected again for a score, and that put the 111th up 24-0. Signal was finally able to get on the board when Marcus Thomas threw this short pass to Jason Goffrey and drew closer to MI 24-6. In the fourth quarter, Signal changed quarterbacks, and Shelby Grant let loose with this prayer, and it was promptly picked by who else but number 13, Isaac Cummings. Signal did manage to draw a bit closer as All-Army athlete Dexter Avery took over as quarterback and threw a strike to Shelby Grant. And that's the way the game would end as MI retakes the Turkey Bowl 24-12.
We have a good defense. It's a whole team effort. We had some schemes that we switched up based off what they was doing on offense, and that allowed me to make some plays.
The fort's commanding general handed out the iron.
Army Family Child Care Professional, a great way to start a career. You get free professional training. The income and benefits are good. You can build a business that moves with you and market yourself through a worldwide network. It's a great way to earn an income, develop a career, and make an important contribution to your community. CYS Family Child Care, supporting Army families.
How do they do that? How do terrorists conduct an attack? This is known as the fusion process and consists of several major steps. Intelligence and surveillance narrows many possible targets to a single one. Pre-attack planning and surveillance of the specific target now begins in earnest, and if not detected, will result in an attack. That's why awareness is crucial and the iWatch program so important. Thus, our constant mantra, if you see something, say something. Third is rehearsals of the attack itself, including dry runs that, if possible, will be conducted on or near the objective. Number 4 is actions on the objective itself. At this point, an attack is imminent. It will happen, and most likely lives will be lost. Lastly is escape and exploitation. Terrorists have used the media for years. We at the AT office take a page out of their book and do the same thing. That's why our reminders and warnings remain constant, just like those who would seek to harm us. Disrupting the terrorist fusion process can and does save lives.
Now let's take a look at the latest news from the Pentagon.
Defense Secretary Leon Panetta is expected to speak today with the commander of U.S. and ISAF forces in Afghanistan, General John Allen, on a wide range of issues relating to the mission there. Pentagon spokesman George Little said yesterday defense officials are looking at options for what the U.S. presence in Afghanistan might look like after the end of 2014. He added Defense Secretary Leon Panetta has yet to forward any recommendations to the White House on how many troops should remain in Afghanistan once the military mission ends in 2 years. He said any U.S. presence would only be at the invitation of the Afghan government and would focus on training Afghan security forces and targeting the remains of al-Qaeda.
The newly renovated online one-stop shop for service members, their families, and veterans launched today. Staff Sergeant Dion Moses reports on some of the upgrades users can expect to see.
Call, click, connect. It's just that simple.
You can call Military One Source to get immediate assistance 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days of the year, or you can go online, click on militaryonesource.mil, and to find information at your fingertips. So it's right there. It will connect you to the resources that you need to make you a resilient family member, service member, or unit.
Defense officials spent more than 9 months looking at industry best practices, feedback from previous Military One Source users, and social media trends to create new functionalities. They've made the website more social media driven, provided mobile and tablet platforms, and streamlined content on the old page while integrating information from the retired Military Homefront website.
When we were making our revitalization for Military One Source, we did take into consideration the President's initiative or request to reduce the number of federal government websites. And because there was very similar information on Military Homefront and Military One Source, it was really a logical decision to combine those two large web platforms into one.
The Quality of Life program, supported by the Department of Defense, provides resources and support to active duty, National Guard and Reserve service members and their families anywhere in the world. Military One Source is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at no cost to users. Reporting from the Pentagon, I'm Staff Sergeant Dion Moses.
And you can access Military One Source today by logging on to militaryOneSource.com or call 1-800-342-9647.
The holiday is just around the corner. It's the perfect time to learn more about all those buttons and dials on your digital camera. I'm Heather Bird, Digital Photography Instructor at Fort Huachuca's Arts and Crafts Center. I'm inviting you to our beginning digital photography and Photoshop classes. You'll learn more about the aperture, shutter speed, ISO, composition, and much more. Monthly photo walks are also scheduled, and along with our beginning classes are an excellent way to get a kickstart to learning how to use your digital camera. Call or stop by the Arts and Crafts Center for the class schedule and more information. 520-533-5550.
Fort Huachuca's Mountain View Golf Course and Pro Shop are open daily from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. The Pro Shop carries most major club brands and all major brands of golf balls. There also is a wide variety of golfing accessories, including shoes, shirts, and hats. Test your equipment on the driving range, which is open daily from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. For more information, call 533-7088 or 533-7092.
And here's an update from the National Guard Bureau.
Town hall meetings are a good way for National Guard leaders to stay connected with Guardsmen in an open forum. One important Guard leader recently used this format to meet with staff at Joint Base Andrews, Maryland. Master Sergeant Matt Hilborn explains.
General Frank J. Graff met with the men and women of the Air National Guard Readiness Center to discuss his new role as Chief of the National Guard Bureau.
What we set out on the path was over a 3-month period, taking a look and talking with various organizations and people about the National Guard, the Air Guard, and the Army Guard.
General Graff outlined his priorities and his vision for the future.
I don't want to change just to change. You know, some people come in, well, I'm going to change, okay? Well, have a reason to change before you make changes, because this organization is running on all cylinders now.
From Joint Base Andrews, I'm Master Sergeant Matt Hilborn.
Your adrenaline rises as your horse bolts forward in a cascade of thundering hooves, bugle calls, and gunshots. B-Troop, 4th U.S. Cavalry Memorial, wants you as a trooper or as a lady in the auxiliary. For more information on how you can represent Fort Huachuca and the Army, call 538-2178. And here's a look at the latest news from Big Army.
Checking patient's responsiveness. Patient is unresponsive.
Private First Class Corey Compton is in the business of saving lives of fellow soldiers wounded in combat.
Just one unresponsive, gunshot wound, left arm.
Today he's practicing treatment of patients in the field, which is just one part of a test for the Army's Expert Field Medical Badge, or EFMB.
To just about any combat medic, getting the EFMB is like the epitome of being a medic. I mean, other than going Ranger or Special Forces, it's the top of the line. It's who we are, it's what we do. Head tilt, chin lift.
In this medical lane part of the test, each medic will have 14 tasks.
Check the feet.
And must successfully accomplish at least 11.
For the EFMB, you have a list and you have to follow it exact. If you get out of line, you're a no-go. You don't pass. 6 to 8 inches down, clamp it off. We have to know what medications to administer and when and why. We have to know which fluids to give. You move out in the circle.
The actual badge competition starts a week after this training, but more than 170 medics from around the Pacific have come here to Schofield Barracks to earn their badges, and all are taking advantage of this training for the real deal.
Checking for signs and symptoms of infiltration.
We've all decided that it's not enough to simply tell them what the standard is. Let's give them quality training. It does give that soldier baseline understanding of these critical medical tasks, and that even if you don't get the badge, the training here will certainly make someone not a completely better soldier.
Any obstructions, broken teeth, anything like that. The neck, check for step off.
And that training is something the soldiers can also appreciate.
It's invaluable training, and I'm glad I get the chance to do it. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Tech Sergeant Michael Jackson, Schofield Barracks, Hawaii.
Position him on the litter.
It took nearly 6 years, but Ryan O'Connor finally received the honor he deserves after serving in the Army and being injured by enemy fire in Iraq. The ceremony was held at Greenwood Village City Hall in Denver, Colorado, where Ryan now serves as a police officer.
Greenwood Village was more than happy to host the ceremony here. The chief told me he was honored, and I wanted to have the ceremony here because this is where my friends and family are now, and so it just made sense for me.
We serve with integrity, honor, and pride. You can count on us. The Border Patrol, we protect America. Are you up to the challenge?
And now to news from the Navy.
Welcome to All Hands Update. I'm Petty Officer Amara Timberlake from Norfolk, where USS Enterprise will be inactivated on Saturday, and these are your headlines from around the fleet. USS Dwight D. Eisenhower will return from her current overseas deployment, allowing the ship to return home in December for 2 months before sending it back to the Middle East. The move is being made due to delays in emergent repair work on USS Nimitz and will allow Eisenhower's flight deck to be resurfaced. The decision also provides the ship's crew a welcome holiday rest from what will become nearly 10 months on station. Africa Partnership Station 2012 wrapped up November 24th with an award ceremony aboard high-speed vessel Swift. The training in Ghana included amphibious operations planning, intelligence specialization, and communications. You can read more about these stories at Navy.mil.
And that'll do it for this edition of the Global Glance. Have a great day.